We are the Hutchinsons, and 2 years ago we left our lives in the UK to follow our dream of travelling full-time as a family of 5. And of course, one of our dream destinations was the land down under. We have recently had the pleasure of spending 2 weeks in Perth, Australia, but was it everything we ever dreamed of, and would we consider moving our family there full-time? Find out in this video.
Hello and welcome to the video. We have been traveling around so many countries over the last 2 years, and we have just gone past our 2-year anniversary of leaving the UK.
Yeah, the 28th of May 2023 we left the UK, so it's just past the 2-year mark.
And we're now going into year 3 of traveling, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about Australia.
Yes, well, actually, our last location to kind of round off our 2 years of consistent travel as a family was Australia.
Yes.
And it was like the one that we were waiting for. It was like the pinnacle. We were waiting all the way along for Australia, and it's always been there as like a dangling carrot, but we had to wait right till the end of the 2-year period to go there.
That is right. So like, it's been quite crazy because letting you all in on a little secret, when we were leaving the UK, it was plan C of like thinking about immigrating to Australia as a family. So it was there in place to maybe potentially go there, but we didn't really want to go through all of the visa situation, everything, having never put a foot on Australian land.
Yeah, because we did have the idea of going through the visas and getting it all done prior to actually going to Australia. So at the end of our travel, the idea was to potentially be all ready to move to Australia. But we did, like Tamira said, decide to actually visit Australia first before committing to something like that.
We did manage to get over there. We didn't quite manage to tour around as of yet, but we can officially say that we put our feet on Australian land and we did quite a few things that were all Australian. And we hope that you all enjoyed all of our videos to do with Australia, because we really enjoyed doing those. But this video is a bit more about how we actually felt about being there and how we feel about potentially our future.
Do we still feel the same about Australia now we've visited there compared to not? Because when you're in the UK growing up as a child, you sort of get to learn about Australia, and it's kind of this far away land. It's
down under.
Land down under. It's on the opposite side of the planet. Everything's the other way around kind of thing. It just seems like it's long distant paradise, and you see all like the surfing and all the Australian sort of lifestyle, but it just seems so out of the way, so unreachable. But you know of people throughout your life that have made it over there, and it's this dream life and a dream place.
I was super excited to finally go there, but the question is, was it what we were expecting it to be?
And do we want to move there now we've been there? We thankfully had the opportunity to go and visit Australia with our good friends
that we met whilst travelling.
Met whilst travelling. Some real life Aussies, the Moth family, the Mitchells, and we're so thankful that we got to meet them, and they took us to their home that was in Mandurah in near Perth, Australia. So we flew into Perth, and you know what, from the off, we were welcomed in. They were sort of with us, showing us the ropes, and it was just an amazing start.
So we enjoyed that, and then we went into Perth, and I'm just going to say it completely flat out. Basically, what you think about Australia, it is like the fitness lifestyle, the sunshine. Like,
you wake up and the sun's shining, and people are out and about, and there's cool coffee shops, and like it's a really outdoorsy lifestyle, and we got that from the off.
I did expect to see wild kangaroos just leaping about.
Yeah, that's kind of what we expected. As soon as we got off the plane, we expected the kangaroos to be hopping around.
We were looking for those as we were ordering the Uber. So we were in Perth and we didn't actually see a wild kangaroo, but we did manage to see a kangaroo, but we did have to go to a zoo for that.
We went to Caversham, which was really good.
Absolutely, that was really, really fantastic.
We started off like with a few nights in the middle, central Perth. So obviously it's a big city. Like, we weren't ever going to see hopping kangaroos around the main city.
King's Park was pretty big.
Yeah, King's Park was really good.
Yeah.
But we did see some wild parrots that were like black with like a red tail. They were pretty special because we hadn't seen them out in the wild like that before. Packing for a family can be really tough, and we've learned the hard way. We've had floppy suitcases, we've had tiny suitcases that don't fit anything in, and we've had backpacks that are a little bit tricky, a little bit awkward, but I have got the perfect travel companion. This is the Voyager check-in suitcase from Level 8, and we have got 2 of these beauties in this beautiful yellow colour, easy to spot when it's coming around the conveyor belt, and both of these fit all of our check-in luggage in for a family of 5. They are so good.
This thing is built for big adventures and big families. It's got space for everything we need, as well as the little extras. The built-in compression system means we can pack for all 5 of us and still keep it looking tidy. No more cramming it all in and wrestling with the zipper.
And let's be honest, family travel days, they can get rough, but this rock hard shell is tough enough to take anything we throw at it.
It's lightweight, super durable, and those 360 spinner wheels are so smooth, they make the airport dashes way less chaotic. The Voyager check-in suitcase will not only have you looking good as you stroll through the airport, you will also be travelling with confidence, knowing your valuable items are protected from its premium outer shell, as well as having the comfort of this wide handle design. These suitcases have brought a massive upgrade to our travel days. To get your hands on your very own Voyager check-in suitcase from Level 8, just click on the link in the description below and use our code Hutchinsons10 for 10% off. Big thank you to Level 8 for sponsoring this video.
We only spent a short couple of days there. We did return there a bit later on, which we'll go into, but we were quickly to go to Mandurah with our friends and see where they lived, and we got a real sense of like Aussie lifestyle down there.
Yeah, it was really cool, like the barbecuing and like just it being normal to be hitting up the barbecue on a night, going fishing as well and going crabbing and seeing some...
Went out on the boat, Pauline went on her parents' boat, and it was so nice. Like, we instantly got this cool, outdoorsy, adventurous lifestyle. We're on a boat, we're going fishing, like the girls were fishing for the first time, crabbing, like it was so nice, and we really got that feeling straight away.
The general vibe about being over in Perth in Australia was really quite active, and the outdoors areas, like I'm saying, like us coming from the UK and going straight to Australia might be a bit different, but like one of the main things was the walkways were huge and really well maintained.
Really neat.
Really neat. And then the play areas. This is exactly completely different from the UK, because play areas in the UK are like got one swing kind of swinging around. One of them's broken. One of the, you know, all the fun's being taken out because the roundabout doesn't go around because it's got brakes on.
Unless it's brand new.
Unless it's like, brand new it's not been damaged yet.
Yeah, it's good for a little bit, but like actually playgrounds, it's sad, but like they're a little bit dodgy. So like certainly beyond a certain time, you won't want to be hanging around at a playground.
No.
Sounds weird, but it is actually true to the majority of the UK. Like they're not the best.
No.
But then in Perth, like they were amazing.
They were outstanding. So they had like sails to cover up so they're in the shade, so you're not in full sunlight. The play equipment was incredible, really well maintained. There was a barbecue pit, so you could do a barbecue in the middle there as well, really well maintained, and it was absolutely huge and nothing was broken. And then there's like a basketball court as well, and it's all completely free of charge.
Not to mention
the toilets.
So
I
you
knew you
get
were going to say that.
Toilets, spotlessly clean, toilet tissue, hand sanitizer. There's a place to fill up your drink bottle.
Water fountains around every corner.
And also, as well, on the side, dog poo bags.
Yes.
Literally just there, free. Like, and it's something that you just don't get in the UK. Like, you don't get that. And I think that comes to like the first major point of Australia, what we really loved about it, and it is basically the outdoorsy lifestyle, the play parks, the green areas, the fitness scene, the running, like the barbecuing. It really is so different to Britain, where a lot of the year we have got not great weather and you can't really get out as much and have that, like the vitamin D hit, and that was major for us because we're a really active family and we knew this is what we kind of wanted.
Moving on to like the food and shopping, okay? So they have a Woolworths, which to us makes me think about going to Woolworths to get the pick and mix before going to the cinema.
The early 2000s, the late 90s, it was like Woolworths, would you go in the UK and it'd be this weird store that kind of like sold a bit of everything and you'd go get pick and mix.
Yeah.
It was a real strange
bit of DIY
store.
stuff in there as well.
Yeah, but everyone in the UK knows Woolworths,
Yeah,
but it's not Australian.
Not. It is basically a big supermarket, and then you've got your Coles as well, and then they do have Aldi over there. That was quite exciting for us. Talking about the shops, let's go into the most important thing. Is Australia the same price or more expensive than the UK?
Yeah, because everybody said to us, Australia's all well and good, but you're going to find it way more expensive than even the UK. Certainly than Southeast Asia, which obviously we knew that. But we were a little bit dubious about, is it actually going to be more expensive than the UK? Because the UK is getting so expensive. People's income isn't keeping up with the expense of things going up. So we were like, can it really be much worse than Britain? And we were relatively surprised. We did a whole video of a supermarket shop in Woolworths, which was over there. Go check it out, it's on our channel. We did a full shop, like got the prices, and it was actually roughly around the same price.
I think it was a bit of a give and take. I don't think I was particularly shocked at the prices of the food shop. I thought they were reasonable. I wasn't like, whoa, this is loads more expensive than the UK. Bearing in mind, we have just been back to the UK recently, did a flying visit. So I was looking at costs and I was like, it's not really, really expensive. Some of it's a little bit less than the UK and some of it's a bit more.
We worked out that the shop in the end was roughly the same, like different portion sizes, but then it's more expensive. And then some stuff would be way more expensive than what you would get in the UK, but some things would be cheaper. So we really looked at it as a family and we're like, actually, it's not too much more expensive, if at all. And certainly, like Tamara said, Aldi's a winner for everyone.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same cost.
Yeah, it was the same cost, if not a little bit less.
Now, we rented a car in Australia, so we had to have a car to get about. And in the UK, again, comparing it, because this is what we're kind of doing here, it costs an arm and a leg to rent a car, like maybe £100 a day. If you're lucky, a little bit less. Certainly for a family of 5, we have to have like a comfortable SUV, whatever. So I did that in Australia, and it was about £40 to £50 a day, which was so surprising. I thought it was going to be the UK prices. It was almost half the price of what I would pay in the UK for a car.
And that was with a child seat as well.
Yeah, child seat, SUV, comfortable, really, really nice. And then I was like, okay, so renting a car is actually cheaper in Australia than it is in Britain. But what about fuel? Because fuel in the UK as well, I'm sorry, like it is, sometimes it goes to a point where it's so ridiculous. You're like watching every little bit of fuel go in the car.
It used to be at the beginning of the week before work, and we'd be like, how much do we need in the tanks?
Yeah.
Because of that.
You'd have to like work it out. So I was like, straight up, let's go, let's fill it up. And again, filled up, we used 93. I think it was 93 over there.
Yeah, which is surprising. There's a 93.
Yeah, 93.
There was a 93.
93 in the tank. And again, it was about half the price of the UK.
Yes. That fuel was half the price. There you go.
So we were like, have people got it right here? Like, we were expecting to be spending a bomb. But actually, some things were really reasonably cheaper.
Yes.
And like the supermarkets would give or take. So all in all, on the spending wise, we were actually really happy, pleasant surprise. It was way more expensive than where we sort of live in Southeast Asia and what we've experienced, obviously. But compare it to the Western world and certainly Britain, I thought it was okay.
I thought it was really reasonably affordable.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really quite comfortable, and I was expecting to be quite shocked because we've been in Southeast Asia and we're used to different prices. But I was actually pleasantly surprised with it not actually being excruciatingly expensive. It
were
was
expecting.
just okay.
The only thing I've got to say that we couldn't really compare on was actual like housing living costs.
Yes.
So we Airbnb'd our property. It was a beautiful property. It's in our videos from Australia if you haven't seen them. And the cost was about £100 a night roughly on there, which is about similar to Airbnb costs in the UK. So I don't really know what that would be like in terms of a proper long-term rental and paying gas, electric, council tax, what we have in the UK. I don't know what we have in Australia. So we can't really comment on that. We don't know what it would cost to actually live in a property over there. But living costs day to day seemed okay, and we were pleasantly happy with them.
Yeah, even we had like quite a few fast foods meals.
We did a whole video on that as well.
I did a whole
Red
video.
Rooster, Hungry Jack's, Guzman y Gomez. Like, the cost wasn't ridiculous.
No.
It was, give or take, the same as UK, sometimes cheaper, and some great quality fast food.
That's another thing. So going on the cost, so we've covered the cost.
Yeah.
We were quite pleasantly surprised of it. It was quite comparable, and some things were slightly cheaper than we were expecting them to be. We were just in Western Australia. And we were in Perth, but we really saw, because we were with friends that were taking us to a family meal because it was Easter, we really saw the outline and the landscape of it, which was very, very flat.
Yeah.
Very, very flat. And the roads are huge, like America. And just, I think this probably goes into why fuel prices were very, very reasonable, because everyone drives a big car on these big roads, and there is so much land.
road, so much land.
And then you see
the bush.
Yeah.
The bush is just there. There's just so much land.
There is so
Open.
much land, which meant when you're looking at a lot of the housing, in the UK we're going up now, we're looking at terrace houses.
Yeah, like 3-story houses are pretty normal in the UK. It's what we used to live in.
And it was quite shocking because actually there was loads of bungalows.
Yeah.
Loads. That was the ordinary families were just living in bungalows.
All on one floor.
Yeah. We have, since setting foot in Australia, we want more of Australia. We want to see more of it. We have just done Perth, and we're hoping to do. We want to go to the other side.
We want to see a lot more. Yeah. I mean, all the comments on our TikTok, on our YouTube, like everyone's inviting us everywhere. Go and see this, go and see that, and we really want to. We only got to see Perth. We absolutely love Perth. It scored very, very highly.
Yes.
But it really ticked a lot of boxes for us as a family.
It did, but does that mean we are going to put things in place to get our visa to go over there?
Does it mean that? I would say, before we go on to that, if you are a family and you're thinking about moving to Australia, or if you're a couple or whatever, if you're like, I'm gonna make the move to Australia, and you haven't actually been there, and you're from the UK, there are things to think about. I was quite surprised that I thought about and realised when I got there. Like, some of the things I was quite shocked with, the darkness. Now, I know it might turn at certain parts here, certainly in the summertime, but it got dark quite early, and this was like say late March, April time. And in the UK, for example, in the summer, it's really light until late on the night. It's really light early in the morning. Sometimes you get long days, but we felt quite like it was getting dark quite quick. And
it was dark around 6 o'clock, 6:30. It was completely
It was
dark.
literally pitch black dark, and everything was kind of shutting, and it was almost like you are in your home at that time. And it's one thing where we were shocked because we went to a local mall and it was literally just shut down, and it was like, as soon as it gets to 5 o'clock, the shutters come down, and we're not kind of used to that. It's not like that in the UK, certainly not like that in Southeast Asia, and that was one thing I was quite shocked about.
Yeah, we were quite shocked about it, and it made us realise that the seasons, because obviously it's turning into winter in Australia now, and knowing that the UK is now going into summer, and then realising that Christmas you'd have proper Australian summer, and then because all of our friends and our family are in the UK, and Christmas time not having the cold, it made us think a little bit more about the seasons and being more disconnected from the UK due to seasons.
Yeah, and also like what disconnects from what you used to when you're growing up, and what you imagine and think Christmas to be and stuff like that. You end up really realising that if you emigrate to Australia completely, you are turning your life completely around so that your Christmas time is in blazing hot summer and your summertime in the UK is in an Australian winter. And I didn't realise, actually, some people were saying to us, it does drop pretty cool in Australia in the winter, certainly early morning, late at night. And it's just those things you don't really think about before. Like, you know, you think of Australia as this super hot country, everyone's outside, it's all this amazing, and it is, but it's those little things that I ended up thinking about, like, actually, do I like that wintry, sort of festive, snowy
We've
scene?
missed that for the last 2 years.
Which we don't live in the UK, but, like, you know, if we were fully emigrating to Australia, you would be saying bye-bye to that completely. So wintry Christmas time wouldn't be a thing. And the UK summer, like you say, all your friends and your family, it's UK summertime. It's bright until 10 p.m. on a night. Like, it's this thing. In Australia, it's completely the opposite. So it did make me think that.
Okay, so this is where it all kind of like came into more conversational with me and Chris, and like kind of realising how we are far away being in Southeast Asia, but then you go over to Australia and you're so much further from the UK, and you are definitely, there's a definite disconnect.
Yeah,
the flight is a very long way to get back to the UK.
Yeah, we can get back to the UK fairly straightforward from Malaysia. I think you can get direct flights from the Australia to UK, but that would be a killer.
It'd be so long.
You're having to break it up, and it just make you just that little bit further away from family, friends, and home. Although you would essentially have Australia as your home, but it's those things to think about.
You don't really think about it either as well, of like how far, like from Perth to Sydney, you're looking at a 5-hour flight.
Yeah.
The question is lingering, do we push through our visa to go and emigrate and live in Australia? And the question, we've touched our toes there, we want to discover it more and see more of it.
It's not a no for now,
it's
not a yes either.
It's not a no. And it definitely isn't a yes yet, but in the future for the girls, it could possibly be an option for us. And I'm saying, if you're thinking about emigrating to Australia, I do think that you need to touch your toes in there first. And I think you also need to go to different states to know where you definitely want to settle as well, because I want to see more of Australia to see if it's all the same. Is there somewhere else that we might like better? But I really did enjoy Perth. I can see myself living there.
Yeah.
And if the last 2 years hadn't happened, I would still definitely choose that plan C before we left the UK, and I would have emigrated to Australia, and I would have taken that option.
I think so.
But doing what we're doing now, we are not going to look at that right now. But that is my personal opinion. Yours might be slightly different because the seasons really threw you off.
Seasons threw me off. Yes, they did. And also, a lot of people at the moment, they're coming from Britain, and we left like 2 years ago now. You kind of, you know, you feel negative about it. There's a lot of people that have left. There's a lot of people wanting a way out. A lot of people wanting to emigrate. But being in Australia, you do realise like how historic Britain is, and how much, you know, we're
power
British.
and it used to be, and like being British and the history.
It's really quite like
and it's celebrated quite a bit over there.
It's celebrated, and you know, it makes you proud to be from the United Kingdom, and you really do feel it, and it did make me feel it. So, you know, it made me see Britain in a different light. Yes, the lifestyle in Australia, incredible, way more suited to our family. But having like the thought of like Britain will always be home. It's where we're from, and it made you realise like the seasons of Britain are pretty special. The history is incredible.
I think he got a little bit homesick.
Yeah, a tiny bit. It made me feel
patriotic towards UK,
and more positive towards Britain. But without a doubt, I'm wanting to see more of Australia and the different parts, because I can really see a future for our children there. It's a really, really incredible country. The people were so friendly, so kind. We loved it. So to top it off, Australia, we absolutely love you. The people, amazing. Thank you all. The food.
The fast food.
The outdoors lifestyle, everything. Without doubt, we will be back and we are going to be visiting other parts of Australia. We hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up if you have, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we shall see you in the next one. Bye.